Okay, today we will introduce you to our course, which is Advanced Listening, Introduction to IELTS Listening section. So during the course of Advanced Listening, we will mostly use the listening materials from IELTS materials, IELTS listening sections. Okay, so what is IELTS listening sections? Okay, the course is, of course, for advanced listening. The name of the course is Advanced Listening, and the focus is in-depth practice of international standard listening skills. Because, yeah, as you know, IELTS is used for international certifications of English language ability or proficiency. Therefore, the level of the listening skill that you are going to encounter in our courses is of course internationally standardized. Okay. And then objective of our course is to improve the conversation in both academic and social context. Let's go on. What is actually IELTS, guys? IELTS is International English Language Testing System. Okay, so when you take IELTS test, you will have a certificate of your English proficiency. And then the IELTS certificate will show people what is your language skill level. Maybe it is basic, intermediate, or advanced, A1, A2, B2, B1, B2, or C1, something like that. And the score range is from 4.0 until 9.0. Okay. And usually this standardized test is used for studying abroad, working abroad, or maybe migrating abroad. Okay, so if you plan to go to work in Australia using work holiday visa, it requires you to have IELTS certificate at least 5.5. But this one is supposed to be IELTS general, not IELTS academic. And then we have 4 sections, including listening, reading, writing, and speaking. But our focus of our course is listening only. Okay. And then IELTS listening. The duration is about 30 minutes plus 10 minutes for you to transfer the answer into the into paper if you are taking the paper-based test. But if you are taking computer-based test, you don't have to, you are not provided with time to transfer your answer into paper because everything is recorded on the computer, right? And then the number of questions is about 40 questions, no, 40 questions, which is divided into 4 sections, section 1, section 2, section 3, and section 4. And then recording is played once only. Okay. And I think in the first 2 sections, you will be faced with conversation, while the next 2 sections, you will be provided with a monologue. Okay. Good. And then next, uh, here is the section, okay? The explanation about the section of the listening in more detail. Section 1 is about social situation like conversation, and then in the section 2, the social situation is like into monologue of more formal setting like tour guide. While in the section 3, you will have to face more academic context like group discussion 2 until 4 people. While in the fourth section, it's still about academic test, academic listening practice, but it's only one speaker, like lecture, one speaker. Okay, like maybe giving direction to people, talking about history, something like that. And finally, in the type, I mean, not finally, but next types of the question, we will be faced with several types of question like multiple choice, A, B, C, D, matching, plain map, diagram labeling simply, or completions of form, note, table, and flow chart, and then sentence completion, and finally, short answer question. We will discuss how we approach these questions later in the class or in the next video. And scoring, the total score 40, the highest score of the 40 question can be converted from 0 until 9. If you got 9 as your bench score in IELTS, we can say that you are your English language proficiency level is like those who are native English, okay, native English, and then you don't have any penalty for wrong answer. So your score will not be -1 or -2 if you happen to have wrong answers. And then spelling and accuracy matter. So therefore, even though you have you can locate the answer accurately, but unfortunately you happen to write the spelling of a certain word incorrectly, then your answer will be considered incorrect. Okay, good. Skill tested include understanding main ideas, listening for specific details like names, dates, number, etc., recognizing opinions and attitudes. What do you think about this person? How do people think? What do you think the author attitude? Something like that. Or following the development of a conversation or lecture. And Why should we study IELTS listening? The first, it is because it's simply recognized globally, and also it trains high concentration because you know how complex the IELTS listening, and then it's real life relevance, campus, work, daily life. So the question I need in IELTS listening is taken from real life, not made, not simply like not authentic. It is purely authentic. So when you listen to IELTS recording, you can picture the real situations of language used in their context. Okay. And also it can help you with other tests like TOEFL and local EPTs. So what it means that if you already succeed with IELTS official test, it is likely that you will be successful for IELTS, for TOEFL ITP or local EPT, because the complexity of this kind of tests like TOEFL and local APTs is much lower than the complexity of IELTS official test. Okay, good. And then what's next in our course later, we will try to talk about the general strategies for IELTS listening, and then section by section focus. We will focus for section 1, maybe like 3 until 4 meetings, and then the next meeting to section 2. And then after midterm, we will focus on section 3 and section 4, okay? And then practice by question types. And finally, at the last meeting, we will do a simulation and self-reflection. Well, I think that's all for the introductions of our advanced listening course, which focus the materials on IELTS listening. I will see you in the class or the next video, guys, and see you when I see you. Assalamualaikum.